Today, we're going to talk about self belief and how you can improve your self belief, how you can acquire self belief when you're doubting yourself, when you're not certain about your abilities to achieve what you can achieve, or when you do know that you can achieve it, but for some reason you still feel that nagging feeling. You're questioning yourself, you're thinking about giving up, you're thinking about changing paths, you're thinking that maybe the journey that you're on right now is not right because you're not seeing results yet. Now, before diving straight into the video, let me preface this with something I read yesterday. During the pandemic that we had a couple of years ago, apparently they did a study where they tested people that received the vaccine and people that received a placebo to see how many of each group would report negative side effects. And the interesting thing, the almost crazy thing, is that over 35% of the group that received placebos still reported negative side effects. So these were things like headache, like nausea, and like the feeling of slight sickness. So the typical symptoms that people would report from receiving a COVID vaccine. Now, this video is not about vaccination, about COVID, or anything like that. It's really about how powerful your mind is and how it affects everything in your life. So, believing that you can do something or believing that you're not going to do it can be the decisive factor of whether you're going to succeed or not. Now, to give you a bit of an insight into my own life, I'm a corporate lawyer. I worked at one of the top law firms in the world. I probably outperformed most of my peers, and still I was always doubting whether I should be there. I was doubting whether, well, I knew I could outwork people, but I was often doubting my own talent, intelligence, all of these things. So this typical imposter syndrome that most people have. But to add one layer to this, I also realized that probably one of my biggest weaknesses was that I did never really believe in my own ability to do things. I always needed other people to show me the path or to tell me that it was okay what I was doing. So it always felt like, well, I needed somebody else to believe in me, and only then I would be able to believe in myself. But for me, everything changed last year when within the span of maybe 2 to 3 weeks, three different things happened that I'm going to talk about in this video that really changed my approach to self-belief. Now, the first one was that I read a book on a completely unrelated topic, but on one of the pages, he was talking about self-doubt and self-belief. And the interesting thing is that essentially it's two sides of the same coin, where you can either choose to doubt yourself or you can choose to believe in yourself. Just like with believing in a religion or in a religious sense, believing in God, believing in Christ, believing in Allah, whatever you want to call it, it's a belief. You choose to believe because it's what you want to do. You could just as well choose to doubt it. So doubt is just the negative version of belief. You can either believe that it's going to happen or you can believe that it's not going to happen. And it all ties back to this famous quote of Henry Ford where he said, whether you believe you can or you believe you cannot, you're right. So you can choose to believe in yourself. You can choose to believe in God. You can choose to believe in whatever, or you can choose to believe that you're not going to make it. You can choose that these things are not for you. You can choose that these things don't exist. But it's still a question of belief. Is it a belief in a positive outcome, or is it a belief in your incapacity? So which one is more empowering? Now, very shortly after reading this quote, my own personal coach posted a quote on his own Instagram where he said, self-belief is a full-time job. So realizing that self-belief is not something that you inherently have, but that you actively have to do, really changed things again for me. It ties back to the quote that to the concept I just shared. Because if you think about it, you can choose to believe, but it's something that you opt for. It's something that you do. It's something that you have to actively decide for. And if you don't decide to actively believe in yourself, self-doubt is always going to creep in. This doubt, this feeling, are you good enough for this? Should you be doing this? Are you going to make it? Why should you make it? What makes you different? All of these thoughts, whatever the exact specific wording of the thought is, it's a form of doubt that is nagging at your own belief. And belief is not something, that was the big misunderstanding that I had back then. I thought that belief was something that I was supposed to have. It's either there or it's not. Either you believe in yourself or you don't. That's just how it is. But the reality is that you choose to believe. And every time that doubt creeps in, you actively override it by choosing to actively look at what you want, believing, choosing to believe that you can make that happen. That's really what it comes down to. And the third thing that really helped me nail this home and starting to believe in myself more is when I saw an interview with a Delta Force Special Forces military operator. I talk about these guys quite a bit in my Instagram stories and my Instagram reels and here on YouTube, because not because I necessarily believe that you should look up to these guys. Some of these guys are probably not the best idols. However, there's a lot of things we can learn from them. So this guy is literally the highest tier special operators in the military. And he said that the thing that sets their training apart from others is that they focus everything on helping people internalize that they can find a solution to any problem that comes up. Now, that solution might not be the best solution out there. It might not even be the second best solution, but it is a solution. And it is a solution that will help them progress, that will help them make things better. And that's what it comes down to. You want to trust in your ability to find a solution, to find a way to move things forward, to get to the next level. And that is so much better than freezing up, because the mindset of you being able to find a solution with whatever comes in your way, trusting in your ability to do that, even if it's not the best solution, it makes things so much easier. And if you come from this high performance background like me, if you're from a law background, especially, where there is simply a correct and an incorrect version of things, you're either right or you're wrong. If that's what you grew up with, then it's very easy to think that everything in between is failure. So there's either right or everything else is wrong. Everything else is failure. But that's not how real life works. In real life, you take action, there's a problem, you find a solution. It's not the perfect solution, but it still gets you in some direction. It might not get you straight, but it will get you in some direction where you can realize, this didn't get me where I want, but you can continue moving and you might make some detour. But at some point, if you keep going, if you keep problem solving, if you keep taking action, you will reach your goal. And for me, one of the big things in my life was that I wanted to be in the best shape that I could possibly be in. And I tried a bunch of different things. I tried going to the gym, getting super big. I tried losing weight. Then I got super skinny again. I talk about this a bunch of times. And it took me a long time to actually realize what I personally needed to do for myself to reach the level that I'm at now, to dial down my nutrition, because I was always struggling. I was struggling with cravings. I was struggling with not being consistent enough on my training. I was struggling with having too much work to balance it all. And then I would go, but I wouldn't do my trainings properly. And it took me so long to find a system that works even when I work 60 hours a week, but just through sheer trial and error, trial and error, trial and error, I eventually, through my sheer persistence, found a system that works, that I could use. And that's something that I could really take from there and apply in all other areas of life, which is what I'm doing now and which is what I'm sharing with you now. Now, am I saying you should never ask anybody for help? No, absolutely not. And I just want to clarify this, because I'm a firm believer in being first and foremost a problem solver. But whenever you can, finding someone that already has the solution and getting these people, whether you befriend them or whether you ask them to pay them, but getting these people to show you the solution to get you there faster. So instead of making 20 detours to get to your goal, maybe you'll only make 2 or 3 detours and then get to your goal. That's it for today. If you like this video, let me know in the comments. Let me know what else you would like to hear from me. And I'll be sharing more of my insights and my own experiences on the matter with you. And I'll talk to you soon.